Carter basically stood down. Now they let the crisis get bad enough. Obama is marching in with these thousands of U.S. troops in AFRICOM to save the continent, which we knew was always part of why he was elected, so the globalist could use his face as the face of occupying Africa.
Right. The U.S. State Department's ordering 160,000 hazmat suits. I mean, it's pretty much martial law lockdown over there.
That's a good point you made on Monday. Drudge linked to our article on that links right to the government documents, but also there was another article out confirming that they're telling hospitals for weeks, get ready for it, but then not telling the public any basic precautions. I mean, that backs up your point. This is unprecedented. What do you think's going on with this Ebola?
I'm not exactly sure yet what's going on. You know, it's a system that we've seen that's happening, you know, time after time. I'm still trying to figure out, I mean, we know it's man-made. I'm just trying to figure out, was this purposely released or was this accidentally released? Because, you know, we know that the CDC has a patent on Ebola. We know that they've been working on different types of vaccines. Do they actually have 100 million stockpiled vaccines somewhere that they just haven't released yet? I mean, you know, who knows? And who knows what's going to be in those vaccines, too. You know, right now, you know, the black market situation going on in Africa with people trying to get the blood and pay for the blood of infected people that have healed. You have that situation. But what nobody's talking about is what you can do naturally to boost your own immune system and to protect yourself. You know, that's not what they want. And, you know, obviously we'll find out what's coming in the future. You know, you have Cuba involved now, too, that's bringing people in and out. It's just the whole thing is very, you know, shady when you look at who's involved, what's going on. What I've been involved with over the last few weeks is really telling people and educating people on what they need to do to prepare, because here's the thing. I mean, all the fear-mongering, you know, they take the attention away, as you know, they'll focus the attention on an NFL player, and nobody's really finding out the truth about this whole pandemic and what could happen.
That's right. Ebola is spreading all over Africa and getting into the Middle Eastern areas, and they're flying patients everywhere. And we're talking about a player who spanked his kid.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, let's say, you know, let's hope this doesn't happen, but what if all of a sudden it comes to the United States? What happens if it's already in the United States? I mean, I know people are coming down with respiratory tract infections all over the place. Now, what if that's being suppressed, and then all of a sudden they say, oh, the pandemic is here and it's spreading rapidly? What have you done, your listeners, what has everyone done really to prepare themselves in case a pandemic, you know, happens? I mean, do you have a bug out plan? Do you have a place to go that you can get out of a densely populated area? I mean, that's the first thing that you need to look at and the first thing that you need to do. Already in Atlanta, they're already talking about the waste of the people being treated there as being flushed into the public water system. You know, how do you spread? I mean, terrorists have been talking about this for years and years and years on the best way to spread bioweapons through the air or through the water supply, you know? So this could actually spread really fast, and unless you have a plan of action ready, unless you've stocked up on everything, unless you know and you're preparing yourself and preparing your immune system right now, you could literally be caught in the thick of things and be thinking, oh, it's almost too late now because I don't have a plan of action.
Well, I mean, I agree with that, but let's just say this is a dry run. It is a wake-up call. But for Africa, it's not a dry run. I mean, it is threatening to collapse. Sierra Leone, Liberia, other areas, they're estimating millions could die. On the low end, hundreds of thousands. What about all the new superbugs? I want to talk about that. Finally, they're talking about restricting antibiotics on farms that, you know, to feed to animals that aren't even sick, which we then eat and then destroys the flora in our gut. I want to talk about some of that because I don't think we're going to see it coming like Ebola. It's like that mystery illness. I know you're in Texas. It was really bad here this year that killed so many people. They would just go, it's a mystery illness, but the CDC knows what it is and they won't say, and we're not supposed to talk about it. The doctors would just look at you weird when you're there watching family die. It's just crazy. So Dr. Edward Group is our guest, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to come back and get into 12 ways to boost your immune system naturally. Then we're going to open the phones up so you can call Dr. Group with any questions or comments that you've got. Then we have a special guest of retired CIA coming on. And it's so sophisticated, it's a conspiracy theory if you point it out when it's public. All the major weather balloons, satellites, the actual just measurements of the North and South Poles is just growing at record levels. Al Gore says it's all melted, and polar bears can't swim. And AOL had the headline, actual headline, global warming likely to cause colder and snowier winters, scientists say. I mean, it's just, this is the end of liars being checked. Or is it really the beginning? Because people are saying no, but the establishment still stands, though. They just stand there in all their muck lying. Dr. Group, I was digressing off into that, but think about how they divert us into carbon dioxide that plants breathe, basically, and then put off oxygen. While there's just all these environmental crazinesses out there, the GMO, the cross species, the spider goats, the super salmon, the glow-in-the-dark poodles you can buy, you know, that are part jellyfish. What is your biggest concern of this whole cocktail? Do you agree with me that past Ebola, it's just all the other stuff that's happening in the background that's the big threat?
I totally agree. It's a combination of everything. It really boils down to how healthy and how mentally strong you are as a person, because when you combine, you know, the damage that affects not only your mental capacity, your physical capacity, your spiritual capacity, there's so much technology out there, or really what I should say is so many different methods that they're using, from the fluoride in the water, the GMOs. I mean, the list goes on, that really you just have to educate yourself and know what to avoid and what to look for, and use natural replacements and keep your body clean on a regular basis, because, you know, all that is really designed to keep you sick, keep you non-aggressive, keep you, you know, not feeling good about yourself, and keep you in a constant state of fear, which is another thing. I mean, look, whenever they come out, you were asking earlier about, you know, why are they doing all these things? Well, I believe one of the reasons why is, you know, and I haven't seen any studies on this, but when you come out with an Ebola or a SARS or an H1N1, some sort of a pandemic, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, people like us who know how to protect ourselves don't really panic because we're prepared. We don't get into a state of fear. I mean, Ebola doesn't scare me one bit. You know, there's no, you know, I know what to do for it. But think of the billions of people out there that are extremely scared right now and fearful. Now, how does that translate into money? You know, you think that, oh, they're creating the Ebola so they can come out on the back end with a vaccine and then make it mandatory for every single person to get the Ebola vaccine. But the secondary thing is that they know that when they create fear, that your immune system instantaneously falls down by 50%. And it's very interesting, too, to note that there's all kinds of other superbugs that are going around right now in the U.S. If you look at every single public school, the children are sick right now. The parents are sick because of some mysterious illness that's going around right now everywhere. So when the immune system is down, when they create all this stuff and fear and keep the immune system down, you're more susceptible to catching any type of disease or breaking your own system down because you can't digest your foods. Your cortisol levels are high. I mean, we all know how how damaging stress is. I mean, stress is a killer in itself.
You're right. And even the elites, Newt Gingrich is in the news today saying that there's a global meltdown happening and a crisis of confidence in the elites. The New York Times has an article out about Scotland's independence vote shows a global crisis of the elites. The elites claim they've got this whole eugenics-based stage crisis as a way to control the earth and bring down the population. But the truth is, it's just a system where they can screw everything up and be bad managers and then call it a secret plan. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
We're on the mark.